expert and positive intelligence specialist. I'm here every Monday at noon to support you and give you the information you might need in the future and in the present with my amazing guest. I called it show It's All Good because it's my favorite cup. It's all good. And also, that's my way of thinking. When I live in my life, things might go my way or not. And then what I do is I always try to find a gift into every situation. Look at, what's good about this situation? What can I learn from it? How can I move forward and feel that life is amazing? And because I can't change the past, when there are things that are happening in the past and it's not necessarily how I like it, sorry, you can't change it. And things in the future, well, even though I have a ball right there, it's not a crystal ball and it cannot predict the future. And I can't know what's going to happen in 5 minutes, let less, in 2 weeks or 3 weeks or a month. So it's all good. The more I live in the present, the more I live in the moment, the more I appreciate my life and I can move forward, just appreciate every moment. So my guest today is an amazing man. I did an interview with him a couple weeks ago, a month ago, and I'm so excited to have him here with us today. His name is Sifu Gomez, and he's a leadership and mindset coach. But before I go to him, I just want to remind you that you might watch this on my YouTube channel. I would like to invite you to subscribe to my channel so that every time I have a new episode, you will be notified. There's a little bell also. You can click on that and you will get notified in your feed that there's a new video from me and my guests. So I would love for you to do that. And if you ever want to be on my show or after listening to the show, you say, oh, I'd like to have a chat with Denise. Well, here's the link. Talk with Denise, like with the tiny.cc. So I invite you to book a call with me so that we can have a conversation and get to discover one another. So let's welcome Sifu. I'm so happy to have you here today. Welcome to the It's All Good show.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate you having me on.
Well, it's a pleasure. I mean, the more I get to discover you, the more I appreciate the person
Mhm.
you are and the energy you bring in a room or in a screen or in your environment. And when I look at your, I'll invite you to talk a little bit about yourself, but I will start from what I see on your social media, and then you can extrapolate from that.
Mhm.
And I see you said that you're a leadership and mindset coach, and but when I look at your social media, I see a lot of training, like you're
Mhm.
training young people, I think.
Mhm.
And so I would love to start there because I'm very curious because it needs a big mindset to do the work that you do. So let's start there and then we'll go from there.
Sure. So, when we think about leadership, where does it start, right? If it doesn't start at a young age,
Hmm.
it's going to be lost along the way. So, if we can start to empower children and teach them that their voices are important, that a lot of parents, and I've heard this 1,000 times, and it irks me every time when somebody says children are to be seen, not heard. And that is
Yeah,
so wrong
yeah.
because we can learn so much from a child. Their imagination is so vivid and so great that
Hmm.
we should help them and guide them and not necessarily tell them you can't do that, but maybe show them a way they can do it. Maybe
Yeah.
show them a possibility. So, children are the possibility that we should all strive to have in our lives. That's why I love training children.
Yeah, that's awesome. And tell me about you, like what you've been doing, what led you to become a leadership and mindset coach, and just elaborate a little bit.
Sure. So, one of the things is I work with a lot of high level people. And for me, leadership is about life. How are you living your life? What are you doing on a daily basis? So leadership also comes to habits. So for me, it's working out. I don't think about it. It's part of who I, it's like brushing my teeth. That's a habit, right?
Mm-hmm.
So brushing your teeth, which we hope we all do every day, and that's why I work out every day. So
Yeah.
what are the habits that you do every day that helps you be a better person, helps you be a better leader? So for me, it's when you ask me, what am I doing? I'm living life.
Mm-hmm.
I'm living life. And when I realized that my purpose in life is to empower other people, I ran with it. So,
Yeah.
could I empower a child? Yes. Can I empower a teenager? Yes. Can I empower a parent? Yes. Can I empower somebody in their 50s and 60s? Yes. The oldest person I've empowered was 102.
Whoa.
102. And after the session, they asked me more questions. So that led me to know that it doesn't matter how old you are.
Mm-hmm.
What keeps you young is your inquisitive mind.
Yeah. Yeah.
That that's beautiful.
Yeah, I love that. What keeps you young is your inquisitive mind. Because
Hmm.
once we stop being curious about life and our environment, that's where it becomes stagnant, right?
Oh yeah, without a doubt.
Like you just, like I can imagine, okay, it's stereotype, but the person that gets back from work,
Mm,
grab a beer in the fridge, sit on the couch, turn on the TV, and stop questioning, right? They just
mm,
watch the TV and then they have their dinner and then they watch TV and then they go back to bed and they get up and go to work and they don't ask if there's anything else out here that I could
mm,
do. Do I have a bigger purpose than what I'm doing right now? How can I support my family, meaning like emotionally? How can I support my neighbors, maybe physically helping them?
mm,
How can I
mhm,
contribute to the society? Like when you ask yourself those questions on a regular basis, even if you have like a 9 to 5 job, right? It doesn't mean that you have to have a career like a coach and a big leader in a company. You could be just a normal person,
mm,
and but your contribution is your inquisition about life, right? Being
mhm.
inquisitive and what else out there? How else can I contribute? How can I support my peers?
Yeah. Well, think about this. A lot of people who have the life that you just explained, they come home, they have a beer, they sit, they watch movies, they watch a show, but there's something else that they're doing. They're complaining.
Mm,
They're complaining. Why is this not good? Why doesn't that work? Why is that person treat me like this? Why am I not getting more money? I'm poor. I'm not this. I'm not that. Meanwhile, you have the power to change your life.
mm-hmm.
If you do one thing a day, one thing every day, it will change your life. You want me to tell you what that is? I
Yeah,
can't because I'm not living your life. I can't. But if I get to know you and
yeah.
I get to know your aspirations, I get to know your goals, I get to know what motivates you, then I can start helping you. That's how I'm a
Mm-hmm.
leadership. I'm an executive type of coach. So
Yeah,
I help people realize their potential.
yeah.
So many people are afraid of their potential. So many people are afraid of that open discussion of, I'm not good enough. But we have to put one, I call it a magical word. And you may be right. You might not be good enough. And here's the magic
Yet,
word, yet. Yeah, you said it, yet.
yet.
I'm not good enough yet. And use that as a magic word.
Yeah.
And then the other magic word, and I teach this to not only little kids, I teach it to adults too.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of people will complain and they'll say, but this, but that. They'll get the but out of your life, right? And put the and.
Yeah,
Instead of saying,
yeah.
this happened to me, but, and then you make an excuse
Mm-hmm.
and you say, this happened to me, and I'm going to find a solution.
Yeah,
I'm going to find a way for it to not happen again.
yeah.
That's the difference. When we speak the words that are going to help us, that are going to resonate with the growth that we can have. So, what is that one thing that you can do every day to get out of the slump? Listen, a lot of people go into depression. And the reason they go into depression is because of the self talk, the
Yeah.
negative self talk. I'm not good. I'm not worthy.
Yeah.
I'm not this. I'm not that. Change that word to I'm not to I'm not yet, right?
Yeah.
Or instead
I
of
mean,
saying
what I like
not,
is I'm in the process of
yeah,
also.
instead of saying not, I'm not good, saying I'm gonna get better. I'm gonna get good.
Yeah.
I'm gonna do my due diligence. Sometimes it is not easy to do certain things, but then the rewards are minor. But
Yeah.
when you do something that maybe it costs in your time and your energy and your effort, the rewards, man, they are great. You have to do the work though.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So there's a lot of wisdom coming out of
Mhm.
your speech, and I appreciate that. And
Mhm.
were you born like that? Or what made you become how you are now?
Mm. I guess none of us are born with wisdom.
Mm-hmm.
We see it, we acquire it. And sometimes it's through what happens in our lives,
Mm-hmm.
how we answer the calls, because sometimes we hide from the calls to step up.
Yeah.
Sometimes we
Yeah.
run from them. But when you can give in and say, I'm being called to step up, to
Yeah.
do something,
Mm-hmm.
I need to rise like a phoenix. You got to rise out of the ashes. You
Yeah.
got to come up. And so for me, I got to tell you, I've lived, and many people go, I can't believe you did this, you did that, you did this. What haven't you done? That's usually what people say to me.
Okay.
And for my answer is, I'm not afraid to experience things.
Yeah.
I'm okay if I fail.
Yeah.
The more I fail, the more I learn.
Mm-hmm.
The more I learn, the more I become. Who do I want to become? I'm not there yet. I can't tell you who I'm going to be in 30 years or 40 years or 50 years. But I can tell you I will not be the same person I am today.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. It made me think of something. When you meet people and they tell you, or the typical conversation, oh, you haven't changed a bit. Well, I hope I changed. Like, yeah, we haven't seen them in 10 years or something.
Mm-hmm.
They usually talk about the physical appearance and stuff,
Right.
but
Right.
but often, like, yeah, I want to grow. What you just said, right? I want to be a better person in 10 years, in 5 years. I want to continue my path of serenity. I want to continue my path of kindness and loving, you know and and that's important to really realize. When you say that your friend asked you, what haven't you done? And I said, there's an endless things that I haven't done,
Mm.
right? Like, the world is so large, and there's
Oh,
so much to do and to explore and to experiment with. And when you don't try new things, you're not falling or failing, but you're not growing either. And
mm-hmm.
I think that's what makes a big difference in when you say, when people are living the regular 9 to 5 job without thinking much about their life. Well, the one thing they could do is very simple. Sometimes it could be little things. It could be just reading a book,
Mm-hmm.
reading a book that could just slightly open the door of their consciousness, right? And try to teach them something about themselves. It doesn't mean that you have to go like Mother Teresa and travel the world and
Mm-hmm.
work with the poor. It could just be, hey, neighbors, I see you've been working on your yard. How can I help you? Like, it
Mm-hmm.
could be, you know, anything. It
Mm-hmm.
doesn't have to be a whole lot when you first start. But then I think this type of behaviors become a bit addictive, because the more I'm supporting other people, the more I help people, the more I want to help people.
Without a doubt. I mean, for example, I remember when I was 10 years old, I used to mow the lawn. And I know a lot of people used to mow the lawn and they used to make money,
Mm.
but it wasn't my lawn.
Yeah.
It was a veteran from World War One.
Mm.
He didn't pay me, but can I tell you, he did with his knowledge and his wisdom.
Yeah, he
My
became your
gosh,
friend.
yeah. And the only reason I met this man is because my sister, who's an angel, used to go to his house and help him and his wife and do
Mm.
help him with shopping.
Yeah.
And my sister said, his grass is pretty long. I said, well, where's the mower? She goes, oh, let me find out. So it's not a motorized one, it's the push one.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. We had one
It's
like
the
that at home. Yeah.
old
Yeah.
fashioned. I'm
You
talking,
push it and
yeah, that's it. And then not only that, then you have to, pick up the grass. And
of
it's not
course.
like the grass doesn't go in a bag.
Yeah,
It didn't
yeah.
even have a
Do it
bag
all
to go into.
manually. Yeah, yeah,
So everything. And it was the best time. At 10 years old, I was doing that
yeah.
because my sister took me in to live with her at the age of 10 when I could not live with my family anymore
Mm.
because the abuse was too much. And she took compassion and she took me in.
Mm.
But she also taught me not only that she had compassion for me, she had it for strangers. These people she didn't know.
Yeah.
She just volunteered to help anybody who needed it. And throughout the years, she truly is a saint. Her and her husband, they've taken people in,
Wow.
they've helped people who are young and who are going to college. They gave them room and board, they gave them food. They didn't even ask for a penny.
Wow.
And that
She
goes
is
to
an angel.
show, oh my gosh. But she did it for me, but then she did it for strangers. You can understand
Yeah,
if somebody
yeah,
does it for your family, but for people that you don't even know,
yeah,
and then they become your family, because some of these people still reach out to my sister. They're adults now, they're in their 30s,
yeah, yeah,
40s,
yeah, yeah,
and they're reaching out to my sister as if she was their mom.
yeah.
So, what did she teach me? She taught me that you can't be selfish. You have to help other people. And
Mm-hmm.
the feeling of helping someone is tremendous. And the gifts they give you back, if they can't afford to give you money, it wasn't the money for me at 10 years old.
Yeah, yeah,
And when I help somebody, I've had people who've said, hey, I need this work. Then they go, how much? I'm like, don't worry about it. They're like, don't worry about it. But you did
yeah,
all this. I'm like, it was a pleasure. Thank you.
yeah, yeah,
Thank you. And they're like, you're thanking me? I'm like, yeah, I had a good time. They're
yeah,
like,
yeah,
you're weird.
yeah, yeah. Of course,
you
of
know?
course. But I can feel that your sister was a great influence into
Mm,
your upbringing,
absolutely.
and you've learned. For what I just understood is that you've learned so much from her own behaviors and her own. I guess she grew up in the same family you did, and then she
Hmm.
left because she was older, and then she just took you under her wing. That's what I
Hmm.
understood, right?
Right. Yes.
And I sometimes people like the phoenix that grew out of the ashes, right? Like what I understood is your environment was not very good, so
Hmm.
that's the burning phoenix,
Hmm.
But
Yeah.
coming out of that environment, it allowed your sister initially to rise up and become the beautiful person she has become. And
Hmm.
then she kind of took you under her wing, and it helped you also grow as the wonderful person you've grown to be.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
I think that's really nice. I'd love to meet your sister one day.
Oh,
And
she's incredible. She's incredible.
and
When we think about giving back,
yeah.
a lot of people, for example, when somebody says, can you do me a favor?
Mm,
And then somebody in their mind is like, if I do you a favor,
What
what
are you gonna
favor are you going to do for me?
what are you gonna do for me? Yeah.
Yeah. So at that point, so a lot of times I don't ask for favors.
Mm-hmm.
I rather pay somebody so they feel like they're getting their worth. So
Mm-hmm.
I'm that kind of person. I don't always ask for favors unless the favor is going to help the person.
Mm.
So it's very weird the way I ask somebody to help me, because if it's going to help them grow, I'll ask them for the favor.
So what
If
would be an
it's
example of that?
so, for example, let's say I'm having a picnic, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I'm having 150 people, and I've had this happen.
Okay.
Actually, I had 250 people coming to the picnic,
Okay.
and the picnic was going to start at 10 a.m.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't ask one person to come help. What I did is I got there at 5 a.m. I set everything up. I pulled tables, I pulled everything, barbecues, the whole thing. And when people showed up, they were like, "Who helped you?" I said, "This guy." They're like, "What?" So they realized what I did for them
Uh-huh.
and the benefit. When I had to break everything down, I almost didn't have to lift a hand
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
because they saw that I did it because I cared for them.
Yeah.
And then in regard, they did it back for me.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong, I still did stuff, but they did it back for me because they saw how much I helped them.
Yeah.
And I never
Yeah.
asked them for anything.
Yeah.
I even provided all the food. So there you go.
That's amazing. That's amazing.
But it allowed them to see that someone cared enough.
Yeah.
And then it gave them the power to say, hey, we care as well. We're going to help you break it down. We're going to help you so it's a great day. So you don't have to be here, 5 hours breaking things down once we're done. So
Yeah, I
it
know.
was a great day.
Putting it together is 5 hours, and putting it down probably took 1 hour because everybody contributed, right?
Correct. Correct. Yeah.
That's beautiful.
Hmm.
The power of community, right?
Hmm.
It's so important. And so tell me, how do you help people now, so work wise, because we all have to work in this society,
Yeah.
unfortunately, unless
Yeah.
we're born millionaire from our whatever coming down from us from our parents. But so in your coaching, so how can someone be helped by you, and how does that work? What does that look like working with you?
So, for example, one of the things that I want to find out is I do a deep dive. What
Mm,
motivates you? What are you doing every day? How is your calendar? What processes do you go through?
mhm,
And who's your team if you have a team?
mhm.
And then I can't help you if your team is not helping you. So let's put everybody together. Let's find out. If it's just you, then that's cool. But if you are a leader and you have 10 people, 20 people,
Yeah, yeah.
maybe, yes, I'll work with you first, but then we still need to bring this team together so that everybody's working in unison. So one of the things I always start with is, what do you do the first thing you wake up?
Mm.
Are you in gratitude? Because every morning when I wake up, I'm in gratitude. I'm grateful for everything that I have in my life. I mean, the fact that I can move my fingers,
It's a
listen,
miracle.
it is I
The fact
woke
that we
up.
can talk and see
What?
one another. I mean, well,
Yeah,
look at
I woke
that.
up. I'm alive. That's a miracle. So I am very grateful for every little thing. If
Yeah,
I'm going to have coffee, I'm grateful for the people that made it possible, that grew the beans, that
yeah. That
brought
seeded
it
the
to the
grain. Yeah.
market. All the think about it. When you have breakfast, if you have eggs, if you have bacon, if you have bread, if you have coffee, if you have milk, if you have sugar, all those things, how long would it take you if you had to go and get every one of those?
Mm-hmm.
You had
Mm-hmm.
to go and get the bacon. That means, unfortunately, you had
Hey.
to kill the pig, didn't you? Then you had to go and make sure you have chickens or go to where they have chickens and get the eggs. Then you
You
had to
have to
go make the bread.
milk the cow.
You had to milk the cow. You had to, you know, use yeast. You have all these different. So we take things for granted, and
Hmm.
that's how I start with helping somebody. What are the things that we take for granted, whether it's in our business, our personal life,
Yeah.
and then what can we do to facilitate and help other people to gain more? So I also start with, what is your gratitude? What are you grateful for? Who is in your life that you're grateful for? What are they doing that you're grateful? Then we go into, what habits do you have? What is some of the first things that you do? Do you meditate? Do you pray? Do you work out? Do you eat? Do you not eat? So we going through this whole cycle of, what do you do the first couple of minutes,
Hmm.
hour when you wake up?
Yeah.
Because for me to help you, those are the biggest and most important things. If you come to me and you say, hey, you know what? My business is failing. I said, okay, well, why? What are you selling? Who's your client? Oh, so we have to go through every little thing.
Hmm.
You know,
Hmm.
unfortunately, Western medicine puts a band-aid on things.
Hmm.
Eastern medicine does not.
Hmm.
They look at
Everything.
everything,
Yeah. And
everything.
that developed the attitude. That's the Western attitude, right?
Mhm.
Oh, let's just patch that. I'll be
Yeah,
fine.
yeah.
Instead of really looking at the depth of why. Like, you got a headache. Okay, take an
Mm.
Advil, right? Or you have stomach ache, after you eat, or you have heartburn. Okay, take Pepto Bismol, whatever that
Yeah,
is,
yeah,
right?
yeah, yeah.
Like, I mean, it's like, okay, but why do you have a headache, and why do you have an upset stomach, and where does that come from?
Mm.
If you look back, there's a chain of event
Mhm.
that made it that you had these disease or these. And I imagine the way you explain it, it's the same in our lives. So if the business is not as successful, then what I understood is that you go back and you follow that path. Okay, what's that path lead you to? Where's the root cause of you not
Mm.
being successful?
Yeah. Well, even for example, I go into family life. Like, how do you talk to your children?
Hmm.
Huh?
Yeah.
How do you talk to your children? How do you talk to your employees? How do you talk to your spouse? How do you speak with your neighbors? So, communication is another aspect that I go into. So, as you can tell, when somebody has me as their coach, they're not just getting one aspect, they're getting a full rounded,
Yeah.
because I don't want to change who you are. I want to explore as to who you want to become. You are, listen, if you're having trouble with customer service, right? Maybe
Yeah.
that's an issue.
Yeah.
So, how are you speaking to your employees who are dealing with customers? How are you talking to your children? How they're talking to their children?
Yeah.
What do they have in their lives? Is this their third job? Wow. Are you paying them enough?
Uh-huh.
Because if
Uh-huh.
you want to provide quality service and your staff is not paid well, well, then how can they provide quality service? They
Hmm.
can't.
They're not
So a lot,
motivated, you
yeah, a
know?
lot of times people, they think money, and they try to keep as much of it as they can,
Hmm.
because, hey, listen, money buys happiness. No, money buys opportunities. You make the happiness. Money does not buy happiness.
Yeah.
It provides opportunities to help yourself, to help your family, to help your neighbors, to help your community, to help your business, to help your customers. And people go, well, wait a minute. How am I helping my customers? Well, because you're going to invest in them. The more you invest in your customer, the more your customer will remain your customer. So, one of the things in one of my businesses, you come into my place, you get free coffee, you get tons of service, you get this, you get that. Somebody comes in, they forgot their water, and I have a drink machine. I go, okay, here, let me give you one. They're like, how much is it? Don't worry about it.
Mhm. Mhm.
Because now they see that I value them. So a lot of times I'll just give a gift to a client. Sometimes I'll give them a book.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And why do I give them a book? I gave a book to one of my clients. It's called 4%. And recently, he didn't read it right away. And the only reason I when I give somebody a book, I'm going to say, hey, listen, I'd love to give you this as a gift, but you have to tell me first, do you like to read?
Uh huh.
If the answer is no, then I go, maybe I'll get you something else. But the
Mhm.
answer is yes. I say, okay, then you have to do me a favor. They're like, wow. So this is when I tell you I ask for a
Yeah. Yeah.
favor,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
You have to read it.
Yeah.
So
If I give it to you, I
recently,
feel there's values.
yeah. So recently he sent me a text. And you know what he said? I've improved my morning by 4%. Thank you for the book.
Uh huh. Uh
I
huh.
said, oh, you're welcome.
Yeah. Yeah.
But is that giving without, here's the thing, if I give you something, I don't expect a return.
Mhm.
I don't expect it. When you expect it, man, you are at a loss because not
Of
everyone is going
course.
to give you a return. Remember
Exactly.
the show Big Bang Theory? When Sheldon always, if somebody gives him a gift, he gets so angry because he's like, oh, now
I gotta give them
I gotta
something.
give you a better gift.
I
So
know.
that's
Sheldon was
not
funny.
that's not what it's about, right? If
Yeah.
somebody gives you a gift, the other thing is you have to be grateful, and you can't say, well, no, thank you. I can't afford to give you a gift. No, you have to say, wow, thank you. I really appreciate it. And really appreciate it and show
Yeah.
it. Do you
Yeah.
know how many kids nowadays for either Hanukkah or Christmas or whatever they celebrate, they get an abundance of gifts. They get 30 gifts.
Yeah.
What do they play with anyway? The box? Yeah, most of the time. But
Mhm.
here's the
Mhm.
thing, I've seen kids rip through gifts just to, like, thanks, throw it aside. Next one, rip it. And then all those gifts are thrown aside. And so, what are we teaching the
Yeah.
kids?
Yeah.
So, here's a suggestion during the holidays, let them open a gift every half hour, not every second.
Mhm.
Because
Mhm.
say, hey, listen, you're gonna open this gift. If you know it's a toy, so you're
Yeah.
gonna open this gift, and in half hour, you can even put a timer. You get to put it down and you get to open another gift. All of a sudden they start to appreciate. And that's what we're losing today. People
Yeah.
don't appreciate the gifts that are given to them.
Yeah. I know if I remember experimenting, like having that in my life, like in my home when we were opening our gift.
Mm,
Like often I've seen it in family, the opposite is that, okay, everybody get gifts and everybody open gifts. Nobody pay attention to each other. And, it's just about, oh, what about me, 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 right? Like it's like, oh, what
mhm,
did I get? What did I get? But what we used to do in my family is we would open one gift at a time. And it was not always the same person, right? So let's say I have my gift. So then everybody watch me open my gift. And then let's say it's Denise from mom, right?
mm,
And then I would look at the gift. I would be happy, go to my mom, give her a big hug and say thank you, and then be with my gift. And then it would be somebody else's turn to open the
mhm,
gift.
mhm.
Right. So then we would really concentrate on paying attention to what you received and make sure we thank the other person for for the gift, right?
Gratitude. Yeah,
Like
gratitude.
gratitude and say, oh wow, thank you so much. And we would go and hug them and then come back and sit in our seat and enjoy our gift while somebody else is opening their gift and paying attention to them also. So it was for me, I felt it was so valuable to do that because I felt at loss when I went to another family and then they were opening their present and then everybody would just pretty much like what you explained, right? It was like, okay, rah, 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 rah.
Yeah.
Nobody's paying attention to anyone. Everybody's like opening gift and nobody's thanking anyone. And And this way is so much in gratitude, so much into the having as opposed to the being,
Mm.
right? And that made a big difference.
It did. My first toy was when I was 10. When I was 10.
Yeah. Is
I
your
never had my
sister give it
own.
to you?
No,
Mm,
my sister's boyfriend.
okay.
But that was the first toy I ever owned that was actually
It's
mine.
yours. Yeah.
It was mine. It was a red car. It
Mm.
was the best gift in the world. I never had anything of my own.
Yeah, yeah,
So
yeah.
you can only imagine what it did for me, right? So anytime that I ever, even now, get a gift, it's like opening it for the first time again.
Hmm.
And whether it's a gift of a physical or materialistic substance,
Yeah,
or
yeah.
it's a gift of somebody giving me their time,
Hmm.
or it's a
Hmm.
gift of somebody giving me a hand,
Yeah,
right? I'm so, so grateful for that.
yeah,
Extremely grateful.
yeah,
And sometimes, even like in the holidays, when people give me gifts, I don't rush to open it. I like, wow, it means so much. And people are like, "Are you gonna open it?" I'm like, "Yeah, I
yeah,
am. I
yeah.
am. It's just gonna take a minute, you know?"
And just absorbing the energy of the
Mhm. Of the
and
gift.
of the gift, yeah. And often, because often people make time to find you a gift and get you a gift,
Mhm.
and then you have the gift that, oh my god, it's the 11th hour, and I have to give them a gift, so that's a different
Mm.
story, but still appreciating it without judgment, because that's their problem in a way, right? Like,
Mhm.
that's for them to grow into that, as opposed to us judging them for the fact that they bought us the icer from the from the gas station on the way in, right?
Right, right. But you know what? And that's where we have to think about gratitude because, when we think about a gift, right? As a leader, right? What gifts are we giving to our employees? What gifts are we giving to our customers? You know, the best service is a gift.
Mhm.
The thought of giving the best service is a gift.
Yeah,
So, how do we communicate that as a leader?
yeah,
You can't say after you give somebody a gift, see what I got you? See what I got you?
I know.
No,
Yeah.
right? So, it also allows us to understand as leaders where in our business can we impact a person? Can we even teach them how to be a better leader? So
Mhm.
for example, one of the things that I always teach leaders is who can you train to take your place? And the first thing they think of is like, what? Somebody's going to take my place? What, you trying to get me fired already?
Yeah, yeah,
No, I'm trying to get you to level up, to
yeah,
go to the
yeah,
next
yeah,
level.
yeah, yeah.
Even if you're the top of the president of the company,
Mhm.
if you can have somebody else become there's no other level that you go to the top, right? There's no one else above you. Then we're not thinking legacy. We have to always think, I can be a better leader if I make more leaders. So
Mhm.
if I
Mhm.
only think of me being the number one, there's no room for anyone else. That's therefore me living in my penthouse alone.
Yeah, yeah,
I don't want to
for
live there
sure.
alone.
And I like what you said. We have to start to wrap up, but I love what you said about always think of, you know, giving a gift, like, for your employees, like, being kind to them is giving them a
Mm,
gift of kindness, giving them a gift of respect, giving
mhm,
them the gift of listening, giving them the gift of understanding. these are things that a leader, when they're able to give that gift to the people around them, that will make them a better leader.
Without a doubt.
Yeah. So, wow, I know we could talk for 2 hours, but unfortunately, we can't. So I'm super excited to have you here today, and
Thank you.
who knows, I might invite you again in a few months just to keep talking and keep
Sure.
sharing who you are and what you do. And so perhaps people are interested and they would like to get a hold of you. So what you share with me is how to reach you.
Sure.
So define your core habit. Is that um I think no,
That's a
I missed.
gift.
Yeah, I
That's a gift.
mistaken them. So it's supposed to be how to contact you. So if you want to have a chat with him, book in the calendar. I know it says gift, but it's reach him. I did that too quickly.
There's
So
two of
there's
them. The
yeah,
one
there's
is
two of them. Yeah,
one of them is just if you want to just talk to me and set
yeah, just have a
something up.
chat. Yeah.
So that's a 15 minutes. So it's calendly.com/ Sifu Raphael /15 min, which is
Oh,
15
okay,
minutes. The
okay.
other one is it's the actual gift for your audience. Anybody who wants to have a 30 minutes. And then, so let's do the 15 first, and then we can the 15 minutes is just to explore what it is that you're trying to do, and then we can get into what your core habits should be. So we can do it that way, if that helps anybody.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Hold on, I'm
Because
just
I
gonna
can't tell
change
you
it
what
to.
your core habits are until you tell me first.
Oh, my fingers are not doing what I want. There you go. So this one. So we got this one, right? Is
I'm
it
not seeing
15?
anything.
Oh, you're not seeing it? It's 15 MIN at the end, right?
Yes,
No dot, no slash, no anything.
correct.
So I got Calendly S- Sifu
Backslash before
Raphael
Raphael.
backslash 15 min.
Right.
All right. So that's all I have to say. Book a call with him, have your 15 minutes, and he will have also a defining your core habit conversation with you afterwards, because in order to defining your core value, he needs to have that 15 minutes with you.
Yes, absolutely.
Right.
That's my gift
Perfect.
to anybody because for me, if I can help one person, my
Mm.
life is worth it.
I know. I know. Like
Mhm.
for me, I that's why I love you so much, because
Thank you.
my way of thinking is, how can I be more loving?
Mm,
In my environment, like people I meet at the grocery store, too often we pay for our groceries, we eat it on our phone, and then we just put the thing on the grocery belt, and then you get the cash and you tap, and you didn't even look at the person in the eyes that
mhm,
is serving you. You didn't acknowledge them. Just like if it was a robot, it would not make any difference.
mm,
So, and I guilty of charge, sometime I do that, but my purpose, I try, what I'm striving to is to acknowledge the people I encounter in my life, to say,
mm,
hey, how are you today?
mm,
And if I feel that there's something I like to give them a compliment with, I won't lie. But
mm.
if I say, hey, I like your hair, or wow, I like that brooch that you're wearing, or
Yeah,
like, just to say, hey, you are a human being
yeah,
and so am I, and we just had a connection,
yeah,
right? And to support people for who they are. So that's a gift of acknowledgement. It's like, hey, I see you,
yeah. I
right?
always leave them with have a beautiful day or have an
Hmm.
exceptional day.
Yeah, yeah,
And to be grateful is everywhere.
yeah,
It's not just when people are looking, right?
absolutely. Absolutely. All right. Thank you so much.
Thank
I
you,
was so
Denise.
honored to have you here today.
A pleasure.
And just stay there in the background. I'll be right back with you. Whew. Wow. I love this man. He's amazing. I love his energy. And too bad we're far apart. But one day I'll travel and I'll go visit him, and we'll break bread together. And so I hope you enjoyed this show. It's all good, and I would like to invite you to, again, to go on my YouTube channel, subscribe to my channel. There's tons of video there. Like, I think today was episode 106, 6, if I'm not mistaken, or around there anyway. I lose track after a while. So I just keep making those episodes because I love interviewing people. I love discovering amazing people that we have on this planet, and I want to share that with you. And again, if you want to have a conversation with me, I invite you to book a call, Calendly, or it's tiny.cc/talk with Denise, and that will lead you to my calendar. And then from there, just book a call, whether you want to be on this show or you want to have a chat with me and see how I can support you. So until next time, be kind to one another and have a wonderful